So last night I had the great fortune to be able to train with and learn from a guy I've looked up to for a long time in Muay Thai, a certified legend by the name of Dany Bill. If you don't know who that is, Dany Bill is generally regarded as one of the best non-Thais to ever fight in Thailand. And he was doing this in the 80s and 90s, which it was a lot more rare for a non-Thai to be in Thailand competing at the highest levels of Muay Thai back then. So learned a lot from him, from videos, watching him, and it was really awesome to train with him. One of the things that's really cool when you speak to somebody who is a master of their craft, you learn so much and so many takeaways you can apply to other things you're doing. So today, guys, I want to share with you 3 takeaways from the Dany Bill seminar that you can apply to both your art, your martial arts, and your business. Number 1 takeaway, this was like the first thing he said. He doesn't speak a ton of English, but he certainly can get his points across. Number 1 thing, you have to drink technique. He was putting us through a lot of drills. It would start as a basic combo and then get more advanced, and he would see people get kind of frustrated by when it got a little more advanced. And he would simply say to everyone in the gym, you have to drink technique. You have to consume the technique of your art so much, right? Because it is your technique that will carry you the whole way throughout your career. Your strength, your conditioning, those will eventually fade with Father Time, but your technique can last you from beginning to an end. So whatever your art is, if it's jiu-jitsu, if it's Muay Thai, if it's acting, if it's playing an instrument, it is your technique that will carry you. So you have to drink technique. I thought that's really, really simple, but when he said that and kind of explained it a little bit, it really made sense, guys. So the number 1 thing, of course, whatever it is you're doing right now, make sure you're drinking, you're consuming your technique as best you can. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2, once you decide what you want, you have to stay focused on that. In his case, it was being a champion in Muay Thai. You have your own thing that you're really trying to do, right? We've already gone over the steps of figuring out what it is and committing to it. Now, of course, when we're having a Q&A session, people talked about some of the distractions and partying and all that kind of stuff. And something that I'd never heard it before is when we talked about, partying and drinking, all that kind of stuff, he didn't talk about the health risk and all that sort of thing. He simply said that when you're doing that, you're taking focus away from what you want. Now, life is life. Sometimes things are going to take focus away from your pursuits that make sense. Your family, your loved ones, your children, maybe matters of life and death, right? But when you're thinking about stuff like, partying or just kind of wasting time, it wasn't about the health detriments he was talking about. Just understand that you're taking focus away every time you're giving your focus to something else. So just be aware of the trade-off. The idea being that if you're aware that you're giving focus or taking focus away from your art to put it on something else, if you're aware of that choice, you can make a different choice next time. Okay, this weekend I'm not gonna do that because I wanna keep my focus on my Muay Thai, my jiu-jitsu, my business, my relationship, whatever it is. So focus is an important thing. The last thing that was a big takeaway that he mentioned is you have to play. When you're studying, when you're training, you have to make it a sense of play. This is not about not taking it seriously, because at first I thought that's what he meant. But what he had noticed as far as fighters who were successful, who were not, guys that can keep it in a realm of play in your training, get lost in it, just play as you're learning and learning and learning. Those are the guys who are always more relaxed when they're executing, and guys that don't necessarily succumb to the pressure. Guys who take it too deadly serious, a lot of times the moment can become too big for them, right? So a quick story that he had told us, right? He fought for the King's Cup in Thailand, and this is no BS here. When you're fighting for the King's Cup back then, the stadium, they build a stadium for 100,000 people to watch you fight. 100,000 people to watch 2 guys and a ref in the ring, right? That's a big, big moment. And a lot of times in backstage, he would see guys so tense that they would just go out there and freeze up under the lights because they were too serious. For him, it was just another day at the gym. He was gonna play when building his technique. He was gonna play with his sparring partners in the gym, and he was gonna play with this guy or this person that he was fighting with. So keep your sense of play. That was absolutely awesome. I didn't really think about it that way, guys. So training with a master in anything, guys, it doesn't matter what their field is, there's always gonna be some value to be pulled out of it. So in this case, just to recap the things from Dany Bill, number 1, drinking your technique. Consume your technique as much as you possibly can. Number 2, stay focused. Understand that all those other things that you're doing besides what you really wanna do, the main thing to consider is you're taking focus away from that. And number 3, always make it play. Always make it play so that you are relaxed, you're able to execute, and there's never a moment that's too big for you, right? So I hope those were helpful, guys. These are my 3 takeaways from the Dany Bill seminar. I'm gonna see if I can post a link to his highlights on this as well, just because if you've never seen him, it's amazing. Otherwise, guys, keep rocking. Be a movie star every day, guys. Drink your technique.